What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good. Happy New Year. I know we're about a month and a half here late, but we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, so I kind of want to get things kick-started again and kind of dive in and give the people what they want, you know?
Holy sh! Are you drunk already?
Man, I wish. I think I was watching
Yeah.
some wrestling highlights.
It's good to be back, man. To anybody who's subscribed to us over the last couple of months, sorry we've been away. Just dealing with life, that gets in the way, and this really isn't something that we've been doing professionally, but man, has a lot of shit happened in the last few months, last couple of
Man,
months.
I was dying to record. I mean, I was overseas for a bit, but I mean, there's so much stuff. We missed the Super Bowl, obviously. Then there was the whole Luka fiasco.
Oh my God.
I mean, we just had All-Star Weekend. People are upset. Too many breaks. People with the format. Baseball starting up. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But
The
I want to
crazy thing
first.
is, the crazy thing about baseball starting up is baseball actually, unbeknownst to all of you guys, is already over.
It's a wrap. I mean, I don't understand. The Dodgers have literally bought the sport. I don't even know how they're paying for this. It's literally it's just honestly, I think the Dodgers are going to be the end of the sport.
Am I? No, bro. I think what's going to happen is, look, actually, if anything, the Dodgers might help the sport go international. Like, it's already international. I get it. I understand people are going to like make stupid comments about that. But I mean, it's gonna make it to where so now Japanese players, there's going to be a whole market, like a different market for Japanese player than there ever been. It's going to be kind of like the Sean McVay effect that happened in football, where it's like anybody wants anyone associated with this guy because he's such a wonderkins. So now you'll start to see that happen in Japan. I mean, viewership in Japan, I think, eclipsed anything like far beyond anything America has ever touched for the World Series. So then what'll probably happen is maybe other countries will be involved, and ultimately what'll start to happen is viewership will actually go up as people want to see the demise of the Dodgers, kind of like with the Chiefs. Last year, the Chiefs and the Niners set a Super Bowl record, and that was in an overtime game because it's a sustained, like the ratings number is not just like a pop, like it's okay, it got up to this number. It's like a sustained level that they, I guess, measure. And so this year they surpassed last year's numbers in a blowout, which means that's how much Americans wanted to see the Chiefs get their asses kicked, basically.
The thing is, the Chiefs are relatively organic. They're more or less homegrown talent. Mahomes, Kelsey, Worthy, Bolton. They're basically their whole O line, besides Tooney, is all Chiefs developed.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
do
different
you think
than
anyone really cares about that when they start watching and rooting against them, though?
no, no. But then what the Dodgers are doing, they're just, hey, we'll just give you $1 billion deferred. We'll pay you in 2075, and you guys keep making money and just sign here, win championships, and we'll call it a day. I mean, when Shohei's making $2 million a year, I think they signed that Sasaki kid for $4 million for 4 years or something like that, or $8 million for 4 years. Like, what kind of contract is that?
Yeah, I mean, but that's why I think who did a great job of kind of regulating that is the NBA did with like this new cap with like all these
Yeah.
aprons and all that stuff,
Hmm.
and and then there are leagues that have like veteran minimums and maximums and all these like different rules, and the Major League Baseball is just like it's a free for
Free
all.
for all.
So
Yep.
some other, like, if Elon Musk buys a team, then who's going to stop him? Like, he'll just buy every championship. You know what I mean?
Bezos should buy the Mariners and literally just buy everyone and
He
just
could. I
yeah.
mean, that's what it'll come down to. And then at some point they'll have to instill some kind of like caps because the the adventure, like, I know that's not what the purists want to see. They don't want to see the game change, but eventually the game's going to need to evolve, or it'll just, you know, it'll go by the wayside and these kind of like major quabbles. But it's always been that, dude. Like, that's why the Yankees have been so dominant for this long.
Yep.
It's just back. The only difference is it's just back to the Dodgers now because now the Dodgers both have the money and the skill set to go and like scout the right players and bring them on. And then you have Shohei, right? When you have someone like Shohei, you're going to have a leg up on all the other teams that don't really have that player that like this guy's generational. There's so many guys are going to want to play with him. You know what I mean? People are probably going to be willing to take discounts to play with him.
I mean, I wouldn't have had that much of a problem with Shohei going to the Dodgers, but it's that structure of that contract that killed me. With this whole deferred payment stuff. I mean, they took Bobby Bonilla. I mean, Shohei ran or what? Bobby Bonilla walked so Shohei could run, right? I mean, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just insane. But let's focus on the Dodgers or baseball in a couple of weeks when it gets properly
Yeah,
kicked
yeah.
off. I wanna pivot here and kind of put a bow on the NFL season here. And a couple of topics that have been really trending recently, and I'd love to hear what you got to say about this. The first one I saw is now that two Super Bowls, one win, do you consider Jalen Hurts to be a top five QB in the NFL?
No, just look, dude, I don't want to go too far
Let's
into
take the
it.
top four: Mahomes, Josh, Lamar, Burrow, right?
Yeah, he's not better than any of them.
He's not better than any of those, but is he fifth?
Uh,
He's better than Dak. He's better than, I mean, he's shown that he's better than Herbert. He's better than Purdy. Who, I mean, the only one you could possibly, I was just thinking about this, maybe Jaden Daniels, but he was a
I
rookie,
was gonna
so
say I already have Jaden Daniels ahead of him.
yeah. We'll see.
He's
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think right
bro,
now his resume wise, I think he's
hold on. So this was the 2024-25 season, right? So if I just Google pass attempts, did Jalen Hurts make in the 24-25 season? I'm just curious.
is Hurts better than Tua
Is this real? No way. So according to Google Gemini, he had 67 pass attempts
in the playoffs?
in 20.
No, he can't. What do you mean? That
No,
doesn't make any sense.
shit, come on, what the fuck? Okay, so let me just read this off to you. Um, 4 attempts, 32 attempts, 21, 19, 22, 28, 24, 24, 20, 14, 25, 30, 38. 30, okay, I guess he threw some. I guess he threw some passes. Whatever.
I mean, just let's go through. I'll go through the ones that would be even remotely controversial. Is he better than Tua?
Yeah,
Is he better than Stroud?
TBD.
Is he
At
better than
least tied
Goff
with
or
Stroud.
Jordan Love?
Yes, he's better than both of them.
Carolina Saints. Baker. I know you have a hard on for Baker, so
Dude, I gotta, yeah, bro. I'm not gonna say he's better than Baker. I can't say
Kyler,
it.
Stafford, Purdy, Geno. I mean, if he's not five, he's like six, seven.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So,
Just, but he's defaulting into it.
right, well, I don't know what that means, but we'll move on to the next one there.
I just think, bro, here's, but hold on.
I think he's
It's
solid
like,
five, man. I mean, he's got
I
two
don't think he's that
Super
good of a
Bowls,
passer. Like,
but
I
but
will
he
say
but
that pass to Devontae was a dime. Like,
yeah,
that man, shit, he might be the fifth best. Because that was a dime. That was honestly one of the best passes I've ever seen in the Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean, that was literally he couldn't have handed it to him better in the end zone. I mean, it
But
was insane.
why is his like why maybe it's just something about the way they play football. Why does he look so like pedestrian during the regular season? I don't get it.
I think they just have, well, one, Saquon ran for 2,000 yards, so I mean he's handing the ball off quite a bit. He also runs quite a bit, so AJ Brown's a diva. I mean, and then I think
AJ
he
Brown's
gets
working
too.
on his inner excellence though. So
Man,
give
get
him a
out of
pass.
here. AJ Brown is, if he didn't win that Super Bowl, I think he would have been out of Philadelphia, man.
Yeah.
I've always told you in fantasy years and years, do not take AJ Brown. He'll start off strong and then he'll blow his load and he's done for the rest of it. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll pout. But quick question: are the Eagles Super Bowl favorites next year?
In the NFC, yeah, dude. I mean, who's gonna beat them?
A healthy Detroit?
That I mean, we're gonna need to like pump the brakes on Detroit pretty hard, dude. Like they could be facing a major reckoning right now because Like who's their OC gonna be? Who's their DC gonna be? Like, dude,
A
that's
lot of
crazy,
holes.
bro. Like you have to like I don't think as much as I love Dan Campbell, I don't think Dan Campbell holds any secrets to either the offensive or defensive game that
No.
he's going to be able to hand to the next guy that's they're going to be able to carry the mantle. So like I'm curious like what happens with David Montgomery first of all? Like what happens with the Detroit run game? Do they go away from what made them great or do they stick with it? If they stick with it, honestly, they have a chance to be even better because all this like bullshit, big play, trick play nonsense, just getting too cute was what got them in trouble. So that's why I lose some faith in Ben Johnson and think, okay, maybe if somebody that was a little bit more like of sound mind and reasoning comes in and takes over the offense, then absolutely the Eagles don't stand a chance. But if
They
they don't get
hired,
that
have they
offensive
hired an
coordinator,
OC?
I don't think so.
I know they got a DC. I don't know if they have OC yet.
But if they don't get that hiring right, then it could be a major collapse for them.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
honestly, I don't see anyone besides the Lions and the Eagles really contending.
Commanders?
John Morton. Who the hell is John Morton?
He makes salt. That's the salt business. No, I have no idea who John Morton is. I don't even know where he came from, unless he's like McVay's like ball boy or something like that.
Serving as the Lions' senior offensive assistant in 2022, Morton returns to Detroit as the team's offensive coordinator in 25. Between his stints in Detroit, Morton spent 2 seasons as the Broncos' passing game coordinator, helping Bo Nix account for the second most passing touchdowns, third most completions, eighth most passing yards by a rookie in NFL history. Interesting, because the Broncos actually put together a pretty decent passing attack, considering they had fucking no one to throw the ball to.
Yeah, I mean, but how much was that Sean Payton and how much was this John Morton? So, I mean, I don't think John Morton was calling plays here. I think Sean Payton still calls the plays and all that stuff on offense. So, I don't know. That's definitely a big question mark. So we'll see. But I mean, the Commanders, if they get a number two wide receiver, shore up that defense a little bit more. I mean, they could give a good run for the money to
The Commanders, you said? What changes would they have to make? They don't have a wide receiver, so who would they
they
get?
need
G. Higgins?
they need another wide receiver. I mean,
Cooper
they could
Cup?
get no Cooper Cup's washed.
No, I
Cooper
don't think
Cup's
so.
washed.
I don't think so.
I think
I think Matt Stafford's washed.
I think you could get a DK Metcalf. They could put maybe Amari Cooper at the two.
DK's going to the Raiders.
No, DK's going to the Bills. I was going to talk about that one later. I think DK's going to go to the Bills. You think
You
DK's
can be
going to want
wrong.
to go
You can be
back to?
wrong 10 minutes from now. That's fine.
All right, all right. Last one, and then my favorite one. Chiefs dynasty is a wrap. It's gonna
It's over.
be it's done. Um, you know, I hate that I take so much pleasure in this, but Kelsey, if he comes back, he's already over the hill. If he leaves, you're not replacing the best tight end in NFL history that quickly with that kind of chemistry with Patrick. They're gonna lose
Nope.
either
No, Graham's kind of
Bolton,
looking good,
Trey
bro. I don't know.
Smith. They got Hollywood Brown's a free agent. Rashi Rice coming back from a major knee injury. I think they're not in the greatest cap
D Hop is
situation.
only a 1 year rental.
The who?
D Hop.
D Hop is probably gone. And how long can you keep on paying off the refs? You know, it's eventually that stuff's gonna catch up to you. So,
Damn, so you're saying you
um,
guys might actually make a Super Bowl for once?
I've been saying that for 30 years, man. We'll
I mean, I just want to see Bills, Ravens, AFC Championship game again. Just give me that and I'll be happy. Like, just, I want to see them again. I want to see them play for all the marbles. That'll be the Super Bowl next year.
I could see I could see Kelsey retiring and then the Chiefs trying to trade for Mark Andrews.
Bro, why would you even say that?
Because they got likely sitting there. Andrews cost a
Ugh.
bunch. I can see that. I'm telling you that. Like,
Ew, brother, ew. What is this? Why would you, bro? That's you know about my man crush on Mark Andrews. Why would you
Oh
wish
yeah,
that upon me?
but
So that
yeah, I mean,
actually segues right into my other fear. My other fear is that Max Crosby ends up with the Chiefs.
no, they ain't trading him in division, man.
You don't think so?
I don't
Maybe
think so.
not. I guess maybe not the Tom Brady Raiders, but like the 1 year ago Raiders, I could totally see doing that.
Maybe because they had no identity and they were not a threat.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tom Brady's is. I mean, it's crazy. Tom Brady owns what 10% of the team, and we call them the Tom Brady Raiders. Uh,
But I don't even think he owns 10%, man.
poor Mark Davis is just getting
I
like.
know, bro.
No,
He'll still lose to me.
I think Max or Miles. I think the Bills will pull a trigger and trade the 30th and like Greg Rousseau or something like that for one of those two.
I hope it's Miles Garrett.
You don't want the 30th pick and Greg Rousseau? Greg Rousseau has
No,
like 10
yeah,
sacks,
I'm good.
bro.
There's nothing happening at that part of the draft. I guarantee you. There's
That's
nothing
where
happening.
that's
This is
where
gonna be
Worthy
one of the
was taken.
worst. This is gonna be one of the worst drafts in a few years.
I think it's going to be a defensive heavy draft. So it's not going to be a lot of showtime plays
Yeah,
and
yeah, no, a lot
playmakers that
of
are going to be taken. A lot of D
I could,
tackles.
yeah, I could see. Who else is like potentially on the move? Do you think T. Higgins stays with the Bengals? It looks like
Well,
Joe Burrow made some comments to the team. I don't know if you heard about this.
yep.
He said that he was willing to like take some of his money on as like a signing bonus to lower his cap hit so that they can help get the T deal done.
Well, I just saw today that they're thinking about franchising him again. Yeah. Because, I mean, look, if T hit the open market, the Patriots would pay out their ass for him. The Commanders would be wise to, give him the bag. There's a bunch of teams that need a big time wide receiver. Yes, T. Higgins cannot stay healthy. I wouldn't trust his hamstring. I trust your hamstrings over his. I don't think T. Higgins has
That'd be
done a
understood.
Romanian deadlift in his life, to be honest. Um, but yeah, but I think if he hit the open market, why would they? I mean, they should at least tag him and to trade him.
So then
But
tag him and sign Trey Hendrickson?
I think Trey Henderson also may be on the market.
What?
Yeah, I think.
You
I
think
mean,
they're gonna let a defensive player walk? You know how bad that would make them look, bro?
especially a white one. I think they love
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Paul Brown would never let that happen, or Mike
In
Brown, whoever it
Ohio, of
is.
all places, give me a
Yeah,
break, bro. No, like they need him more than they need T because they could go out and sign some. Again, you don't think that Cooper Cup is, you think he's washed, whatever, but
they could get a wide receiver in the draft. They get Luther Burden the third. They could get a Mecca whatever from
yeah, that
Ohio
kid.
State. I mean, I think every wide receiver is kind of in play besides the tall one, T Mac.
Where's he projected to go? Five?
Top 10, either to, I've seen him to the Raiders, I've seen him to the Jets, I've seen him, yeah, top 10 for sure. For sure. He's not falling out of the top 10.
Interesting. I think, I actually personally think I'm back on the bandwagon of um Raiders gonna trade up for Fedor.
No, I don't think they'll need to. I think it's gonna go Cam one, Abdul Carter two, and then the Giants will take Travis Hunter, and then I forget who's four, but I don't think they need a quarterback. The
You think that
Patriots are four.
happens? You think that happens organically, or that they do some backdoor dealings and tell those teams, "Hey, we want to play for Las Vegas, don't pick us." Because
Oof.
Dion said he would do that.
I think a lot of that. I think I don't think the Browns are sold on. I think what'll happen is Dion will be like he's not going to Cleveland. Cleveland, his market dies. And then Jacksonville's
So,
not taking him. So
so you think the
unless
Giants pick who?
The Giants take Travis Hunter. Patriots take like an O line. Jacksonville takes some defensive player. Shador falls in the lap unless the Jets trade up right in front of the Raiders and snipe Shador because now they need a quarterback because A Rod's gone.
Bring back
That's going
Zach
to be the
Wilson.
drama right there. Bring back Zach Wilson. Hey, all former Jets quarterbacks are doing good, man. Darnold, Geno. You got a Zach Wilson renaissance is coming.
I know it would never happen, but I have on several occasions joked about Sam Darnold ending up back with them. But I think the breakup was just too public and too humiliating for him.
Yeah, I think Darnold would make a lot of sense for the Raiders, to be honest.
I
He's
hate him.
still young. He's 27.
He
He's still
sucks.
young.
He sucks balls.
Bro, he was like a
Big,
top
salty
five MVP
balls.
caliber. Yes, he had stud wide receivers and a great coach, but
He's seeing ghosts in the pocket. I'm seeing
man,
ghosts.
that was like his second year in the league, man.
Yeah,
He
I'm
was a
glad you said that. I knew you were going to say that. I caught you because that's exactly what happened to him in the playoffs this year. Same thing, bro. Only instead of regular during a regular season game, it happened to him in the playoffs. He just collapsed.
he
Like,
did.
I don't
He
think
did.
there's any other explanation for it. He just collapsed. I was all in on Darnold until the playoffs, and then I was like, dude, when it matters most, all you got to do is bring some pressure to this kid, and he's just gonna like crumble like a cheap tent.
Yeah, it's crazy. He just held on to the ball. It was frustrating. I was like, either just run with it. I mean, he could have gotten some
Indecisive,
yards. He just was just like had a brain fart. Just kind of just sat there. I don't know what the
paralysis
fuck
by
he was doing.
analysis, dude.
Yeah,
Just like, I
or
don't know what
just
to do.
throw it up to Jefferson. And I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, he threw a pick six to a D lineman and whatnot. That's crazy, man. I don't know. I just
Realize that I just realized that we have the same blinds, by the way. I'm sure the fans are gonna love hearing this,
oh yeah.
really
Do
riveting
we really?
conversation. Yeah, I have the same exact blinds. The same
Downstairs,
moldings on the top and everything,
you
bro.
gotta get automated blinds, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you lock down your spot, you gotta get that's downstairs is a game changer. Have them open at sunrise, close at sunset by themselves. Awesome.
Really?
Yeah,
Imagine if Jerry Jones got some of those.
bro. I know CD be happy, man.
Dang. We didn't even set that one up, guys. That wasn't planned. It just happened.
Yeah. Hey, that's another trade candidate. I think if the no, I think if the Cowboys don't make enough moves, I think Micah's gonna be like, "What's going on here? You guys." Last year, Eric Kendricks was the biggest big name free agent acquisition. You're like, we can't be going into a season with Rico Dowdle again and the same squad just because we have the highest paid quarterback and highest paid or second highest paid wide receiver on the team.
I think that that's a team that's in a lot of turmoil right now. Um, Dude, like Jerry just made such a fool of himself this past season, so many different times, with, like the shades and like that whole like the stuff that he said about the sun. He said you can't predict the weather or something like that. And he said we know where the sun is going to be almost a year in advance. Nah, dog, you know where it's going to be well in advance. Like he said things about like how he was like surprised that they didn't compete in the end, like they didn't make the playoffs. Like he's just like a train wreck, man. Like he's really to me he's just doing them a disservice and I don't know what's going to happen with that team. It's kind of sad to see, honestly. Like it's fun to joke about them, but it's kind of sad to see this.
And
Like
they
I
kind of
don't know
screwed
what their
over
identity is.
they screwed over their quarterback. Who's their backup quarterback that played halfway decent? I think he had a playtime incentive, and then they ended up playing Trey Lance instead in the final game, and he didn't hit his.
To make sure he didn't hit his incentive.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
a
then the
dick
coaching,
move.
like the coaching thing. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. What the
Oh
hell was
my
their
gosh,
coaching hire? Like, it's
bro!
just, it was a fiasco.
Like they went from Dion to Brian Schottenheimer. Give me a break. That's just I mean, he just wants a puppet, really, right? He wants somebody to take all the blame when things go bad, and when things are good, they're like, "Oh, Jerry's a mastermind." But
And even on top of that, who was their other candidate that they were considering? Do you remember? Kellen Moore.
who? Kellen
Kellen
Moore.
Moore. The
And
guy that
Kellen
you
Moore,
fired 2 years ago,
yeah.
roughly ish. He wasn't good enough to be your offensive coordinator. Now you went to him hat in hand, asking him to be your head coach. Humiliating, bro. And Dion went from saying, I don't want to coach in the NFL to saying that he would consider coaching for the Cowboys. That's insane. And then you didn't even have an interview, they didn't have discussions, nothing, right?
No, I
How does
think
that
they
happen?
met. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's sad, man. It's
I have a
sad.
theory about that. You want to hear it?
Tell me.
Okay. So I think Dion had some backdoor conversations with Colorado when all this NFL talk started happening. Colorado said that they're not in a position to transition their program and they don't want the program to fall flat on its face when all there's a talent vacuum now, right? Travis is gone, Shador is gone, Dion is gone, and anyone that Dion brought with him potentially would be looking to hit the transfer portal or whatever. So they say, look, here's X amount of pot sweetener or whatever. We don't care if we don't win, the national championship next year. Help us transition our program. So now we're going to have a situation where the Raiders select Shador. Carroll's old ass helps us get some legitimacy over the next couple of years. Pete
Oh,
Carroll prepares to transition the program over to Dion's stewardship in the next couple of years. So Dion is going to backfill basically Pete Carroll while he's going and taking care of Colorado. So that's why the Cowboys thing never materialized. Is
man,
that
you.
some conspiracy theorist bullshit, or is there some legitimacy to that?
I mean, it makes sense, but can you imagine Dion's the coach and Shador's holding out for a new contract or something like that? How does that work if he's the quarterback? Like,
Do you
how do
think
negotiations happen?
Here's a counterpoint. Do you think that maybe somebody in the NBA had that same conversation about LeBron and Bronny before the Lakers signed him, and yet they made it happen one way or another,
But
by hook or
one's,
by
I mean,
crook?
LeBron's another player. I mean, Dion's going to be management technically and have a lot of
Hey,
say in everything that
look,
happens. So,
Dion's technically going to be management, and LeBron is technically a player. They see how it switches. So I think LeBron is much more than a player. I think LeBron's a stakeholder. He's, the pseudo GM. He's a coach. Like he's all those things, right? And not to mention, like he's the leader of the team for all intents and purposes. So you can't have a situation where there's perceived favoritism between him and his son over other players. So you run the same risk potentially. And I think that this is starting to be another microcosm of like where you can see players starting to be empowered more in sports than ownership, management, that kind of thing. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't want to comment on that. But I think if this all comes to fruition the way that I'm saying it now, it sounds crazy, but it could happen.
it could happen. I don't think it's going to. I think Dion will go to, I mean, Vegas is a big market, but I think he'll end up 2 years from now when Schottenheimer gets fired. I think he's going to be there for Big D.
You
But
think so?
one last thing on Jerry Jones. Have you seen his weird obsession with glory holes? I don't even know how to.
What?
He keeps talking about. Just type in Jerry Jones. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
go on incognito, but he talks about glory holes a lot. Jerry Jones is obsessed with glory holes. I mean, that's literally a YouTube video that you can go
I've
and
been
watch
here
it.
when it was the
Hey,
glory
I'm gonna
hole
link that
days.
video down below so y'all can watch that because he is obsessed with glory holes. I
Having
think
said
like,
that, I want me some glory hole. Holy crap. Can we put that in the description, a link to
oh
that?
yeah, that's gonna be a
Fuck
clip here for
yeah.
sure. I'm gonna clip that off and be like, Jerry Jones loves
How many
glory
Diddy
holes.
parties do you think Jerry Jones has been to?
Bro, how much baby oil you think he has at his house, man? It's insane.
Do you think Jerry Jones ever hooked up with the late Bears owner? What's her name?
Kasky or
Yeah, Virginia McCaskey. You think Jerry Jones and Virginia McCaskey ever bumped uglies?
I don't think so. I think he's probably getting young ass girls instead of another
Or young ass
granny.
guys?
Yeah.
Either way, nothing wrong with that. 2025.
Hey,
Hashtag
maybe
quality.
Justin Tucker, new kicker for.
Whoa.
You see, seven more women came out.
Seven more women came out. Bro, what is with these guys?
I don't know. I mean, just don't get married and just go to the club and say, "Hey, I'm the best kicker in NFL history," and you'll get so much thrown at you. It's insane. Why do you have to go to?
What a disappointing time to be a young man who only wants to grow up to be rich and famous, just to find out it's just as hard to get ass when you're rich and famous.
But he's
What the fuck?
married, man. It's crazy. Like, what? I mean, like it's weird, man.
I mean, I at first I was like, "There's no way. It's too much of a coincidence. Too many similarities. Like, it just can't be." Now I'm like, "Oh, this motherfucker did it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
guilty as hell."
100% he gets cut before the off season
What
ends.
a creep, bro. You think that he knew all that was happening and that's why he sucked all year?
Maybe. I mean, look, I actually there was a tweet that came out a couple years ago that said, "I'm not going to say shit. Justin Tucker's banned from a bunch of massage parlors in the Baltimore area." And then they never went into it. And then now all this stuff has come out, and all these women have made all these claims. I
You
mean,
think
there's a lot of smoke.
you think that the Ravens were implicit in trying to help cover it up?
Probably on the back end. They probably have a fixer that try to fix it, but nothing like,
Speaking of that, watch Ray Donovan. That's what he does.
oh, he's a fixer.
Yeah,
Okay, I like
it's a
those
great show.
shows.
If you guys at home, if you haven't seen it, watch Ray Donovan. Also, watch House of Lies, Don Cheadle. We had this conversation earlier. Great show. Highly
I mean,
recommend.
is Ray Donovan the movie any good?
I haven't watched it yet. I got to finish the last season. Got to keep it chronological.
All right, man. I think it's a good
I have
starting
one
off
thing
point
I
here
actually
for us.
wanted
Yeah,
to discuss.
tell me.
We didn't get into Luka at all, bro.
Oh, I was actually gonna pivot. I hope LeBron's ahead of conditioning or something like that in LA because
So
Luca
that's,
doesn't
I
even.
mean, Luka is a fucking fat fuck. Like I was watching him, his first game back, and like he was like panting, like he was red in the face. He was
Yeah,
like
but that was
blood
also
red.
after a big long break, so maybe just in general his conditioning wasn't great. But
Yeah, but he also looked fat.
yeah.
How does
So
that happen?
so here's my thing with Luca. Luca and Jokic, same body type. Jokic is just taller. But Luca pounds the ball into the ground for 18 seconds,
Hmm.
and then does some crazy stuff, does like a super slow motion, then he stops and goes and he scores. Super talented. But
That
Jokic
herky
has the
jerky
same,
thing is why he's as good as he is, though.
yeah, his start stop is amazing. But Jokic is also super slow. He's also not in the best shape. He's not in Dwight Howard level shape,
Call him a fat ass. It's okay.
but he impacts the game just as much, if not more, than any other
And
player in the NBA.
way more efficient.
Way more efficient. Way more efficient.
Crazy. So I think there's three keys to this, right? So one, LeBron has to help him get in shape, but LeBron has to help him want to get in shape, want to stay in shape all year round. Like it can't be, "Oh, okay, we won the championship, so now I'm gonna go to Europe and smoke hookah every day and pound beers." It has to be a lifestyle for him. So that's one. Two is he needs to fit into a style of play where ball movement is emphasized. And three, he needs to spend some of his off-season time and personal time working on defense. Just working on like sliding his feet and all that and being in the
He's
right place. You know what I mean? Like just those basic fundamentals. But like if he could do those three things, if those three things happen, then Luka has a chance to be one of the greatest things that ever happened in Lakers history. If they don't happen, he will be an approximation of James Harden on the Rockets. And we'll have whatever time that he's with us, we'll basically lose like 5 years, 5 to 7 years.
look, the Mavericks could have gotten a lot more for Luca. They could have gotten more picks, better players, younger players. I was thinking, talking to somebody, you could trade him to the Rockets for Jalen Green and Sengun, Cam Whitmore, and picks, and the Rockets would have eaten that up. But they did what they did. But I think they have a feeling that it is Luca is just not that dog that is going to work on his body. And I think he is what he is now, and I don't think he's gonna get like I think Houston James Harden is a great comparison. I think that's what he's a great scorer, great player, flashy numbers, but is he
Not what's going to win you a championship.
yeah, is he does he have that drive like a Tatum and Jalen Brown did this past year or like what I think SGA is a dog, man. I think I think he eventually will win a championship
I think
here.
this is what makes all the difference, really, right? Is whether the fact that he's now in LA changes his mindset.
Now,
So we'll see.
I think long term the trade on paper looks great. I think it sets the Lakers back 5 to 7 years.
Probably. Probably. It is what it is. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be fun watching them in the meantime. That's about it. Cool,
All right,
man.
brother.
Well, good to see you again. Good to chat. It's let everyone know that you can expect to see a lot more content from us, more regular updates. We're working on the format, working on the content. So please give us your feedback, make it as constructive as you possibly can. Let us know what we can do better. Please go ahead and make sure that you're going in and hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Help us grow this thing. And we'll see you again next week.
All right.
All
Take
right,
it
man.
easy.
Take care.